welcome back to another Rory pop-up. Yes, I am popping up, and y'all already know why. Y'all know I could not let it pass. I had to come in here and pop in and talk about the trooping of the colors. Yes, it looks like that family is finally realizing that the blowback is real and the barrier poles are actually telling them what is going on in the streets and on the internet streets as well. And let me tell you, if they didn't know, they know now that they are literally circling the drain. I mean, the crowds were sparse. Nobody cared anything about coming out and supporting Charles and his horse and William and his mannequin. Nobody cared about it. They're estimating that it was like maybe 2 to 3,000 people. Can you imagine that during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II? That 2 or 3,000 people would show up for her birthday for a trooping of the colors? No, no, that would have never happened when Queen Elizabeth II was sitting on the throne. But now that King Charles the Third, or should I say Charles the Cruel, is sitting on the throne, not many people are very interested in wishing him a happy birthday as they spend millions and millions of dollars on this nonsense exercise that they call Trooping of the Colors. Because at the end of the day, the people of Great Britain are having a very difficult time. They're in a economic crisis per se. And so who wants to see this family of mediocres who do nothing but pull back a curtain where a plaque may be, or cut a ribbon, or absolutely show up and act like they want to learn how to make some bread. And for all their effort, this mediocre family, then the tax-paying public has to turn around and cut them a $1 billion check every year for this nonsense. I am not surprised that the public is really starting to turn on them and have no kind of reverence for them, because look at them. They do nothing for anybody except themselves. And what they do is just surface stuff. It is absolutely cosplaying. And it is basically for the camera. Where is the money shot? Where is the camera so I can get this money shot? And it's so obvious every time they go out to do what they consider an engagement or work. It is so obvious that it is not about the people, and it's not about whatever they're trying to promote. It is about the money shot. How am I looking? Let me pretend like I am doing something so that people can be gaslit into continuing to cut the checks. I'm just saying. But it looks like the worm is turning. Look like the British public is finally waking up from its long slumber and starting to look at this family and seeing them for what they are, a bunch of mediocre grifters. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty posted a picture of the crowd that assembled in front of the balcony. You know, this balcony that it's supposed to be such a privilege to stand on, that they just did not want Harry and Meghan to stand on it. And they even went as far to make up a rule saying only working royals could stand on the balcony. And we all know that was a lie, because during Queen Elizabeth II's reign, She had her whole family on the balcony. It was full, and it was full of royals. It was no such thing as a working royal. It was no such distinction between anybody that stood on that balcony. They were all her family. I mean, let's look at it. When Queen Elizabeth was on the throne, I mean, it was Eugenie and Beatrice. It was all of her nieces and nephews from Princess Margaret's family. I mean, you name it, they were on the balcony. But all of a sudden, it became a rule that it was only working roles, so called working roles. Yes, this is stupid. But now look at you. You can stand on the balcony, but nobody cares. And I love this for them. I do. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty said this. Well, that was a week R's birthday for King Charles III. An aerial view of the event shows that not even 1,000 people showed up to see him at Buckingham Palace balcony. And you could see it on their faces. I'm telling you, they looked miserable, including the children. I'm just saying it did not go down very well with them because they see exactly the results of their behavior, how they have treated Harry and Meghan, how they have really suffered from the blowback of them mistreating a couple who has done nothing since they left that family except mind their business. And they have continued to absolutely go after this couple, planning stories and even going after Harry's charities and Meghan, going to the gutter level, how they speak about her, how they report on her. And yet and still, they are the ones who are getting hurt. Their reputation is the reputations that are getting hurt. And I'm telling you, it just reminds me of that old saying when I was a kid. You know, when someone was calling you names and trying to denigrate you, you used to say, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. That is exactly what has gone down here. Yes, everything they have said about Harry and Meghan has bounced off of them and stuck to the left behinds. It has. And it was on full display today. Yes. All of the smears, all of the denigration, all of the character assassinations. Yes, it absolutely bounced off of Harry and Meghan and stuck to them. And this is the results. I love it. I love it for them. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And it says, I think another emotional support pole is needed because the balcony ain't balconing. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's nobody on the balcony that anybody wants to come and see. It's nobody on that balcony that holds any interest for anyone. They don't do anything for anybody. And why in the world would anybody care about them? We're in 2025, and it's pretty much, what have you done for me lately? And when the British taxpayer asks this mediocre family what it has done for them lately, it is always the same answer, and that is absolutely nothing. And this is why the British taxpayer, the British public, is starting to serve them dust. And I just love that for them. I do. But they are not taking it well. They are not. Their faces absolutely told the story. And I love it. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty said, absolutely sad, but so deserving. Where is the lie? It says, so deserving of this family. The mall is completely empty. Haven't seen this before. There were millions in those celebrations in Diana's era. Absolutely empty. Wowzer. Wowzer. I love it. All right, y'all, I'm gonna put this one up, and let me tell you, the squatties continue to take no prisoners when it came to commenting on this trooping of the colors and how the British public has treated this family on this particular day. It is so delicious. And this post is a repost, and the original post said this: I thought they were popular. Oh my goodness, squatties. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. And the squatty that reposted this said, I almost feel sorry for them, but then I remember that they deserve it. Where is the laugh? Because this is just karma coming around, knocking on their door, and when they answer, karma kissing them in the mouth. That's all this is. They have put all of this nastiness out there into the ether, and this is just it coming back to bite them. I'm just saying. And then this particular squatty said, the wheels have fallen off of the royal court. Karma, we love you. Exactly. This is just Lady Karma showing up and showing out. And we are here for it. We are. I love it. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty said, it's truly embarrassing that after waging a 5+ year smear campaign against two of the most globally recognized roles, and after commissioning multiple emotional support posts to show how popular the UK royals are, this is the best they can do at a massive state event. It is truly pathetic. Where is the lie? Where is it? I'm looking for it. It is hiding from me because, yeah, they have done everything they can do to absolutely tear Harry and Meghan down. And look what has become of them. I just love it. And let me tell you, I'm going to put this up. And they were not happy. They could not hide it today. They couldn't. You could see it. They were taking it out on each other. Charles was absolutely coming for his horse in the carriage, and his horse was having none of it. And they knew that they were on national television. But Charles did not care. We all know, we have saw this many times out of Charles. He's petulant. He is, and he cannot control himself when he's upset. And when he saw those few people out there that came out to wave at him and wish him well for his official birthday, he really started to go in on his horse. And like I said, his horse was having none of it. She was giving it back to him as good as he was giving it to her. And it was something to see. If you get the opportunity, look on X, formerly known as Twitter, and all the clips are there. Yes, they are not happy with each other. And it's all because of the turnout. You best believe it's all because of the turnout. And let's not forget that Kate and William and the kids, they were even going after the kids. They were not happy today. And all I can say is when you can't even fake it for the camera for this just this short period of time, can you imagine how it is behind the scenes? They don't like each other at all. I mean, none of them. And I am starting to believe that the kids don't like him either. They don't like anything. They don't want to have anything to do with their own parents. I mean, it was really, really something to see. All right, y'all, I'm gonna put this up. And this particular squatty, this was a repost, and the original post said this: someone's not happy in the carriage. Yes, it was there for everyone to see. Charles was going at his horse, I believe, because he was upset about the crowd. Like she had something to do with that. But like I said, she was having none of it. She was not having any of it. And all I can say to them is, this is what you wanted. This is what Diana lost her life for. So you could ride with your horse in the carriage. But now you're not even happy with that. And I just love it for the both of them because they have done nothing but destroy people's lives in order for them to have this moment. And now they can't even enjoy the moment. Charles has not enjoyed not one moment of being king. I love this for him because he did everything. He sacrificed. He sacrificed Diana. He sacrificed Harry. He sacrificed his grandchildren. He has sacrificed everybody in order to have this moment because he insisted upon having her as his queen. And all I can say is, I just love it for them. Yes, look what you have done. And they cannot blame anybody except the two people that are in that carriage, and that's themselves. I love it. And then the squatty that reposted that said this: people don't really change, do they? Look at them, nonstop complaining. Two petulant, miserable people. Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. There is no joy in this family, no charisma. Where is the lie? They have done everything and they are miserable. They're miserable. Even Diana had to lose her life, but look at them. They got everything they wanted and they're still miserable. Who can absolutely have any problem with karma? Continuing to kiss these people in their mouths. Oh, it's delicious. It is just delicious. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this one says Buckingham Palace must be very worried. If they're not, they should be. I'm just saying, because the drain is there and they're going around and around and around it. They are. And it says, for a family that betrays each other to be the most popular, a family to which popularity is oxygen, this is extremely worrisome. The subjects have lost interest. They are moving on in mass and fast. Yet their main worry is Harry and Meghan. Where is the lie? Because they don't want to own the fact that they created the situation in which they are in. They want to blame Harry and Meghan for it. You know they do. You know they sit around and blame Harry and Meghan for their downfall, not their behavior. Nothing that they have done they feel is justified in what has happened. And y'all know, you know what they are thinking. They're thinking if Harry and Meghan never sat down for that Oprah Winfrey interview, or if they had never did the Harry and Meghan documentary, or if Harry never wrote Spare, that none of this would be happening to them. They don't have enough insight or self-awareness to know that if they had treated Harry and Meghan better, if they had a took the half in, half out when it was offered, and most important, if they had not waged the smear campaign, none of this would be happening. It would not. The blowback would not have been happening, but they don't have enough insight. They don't have enough self awareness to understand that is, what is happening to them is of their own doing. How do you have the audacity to tell someone that you have abused not to talk about it? It makes no sense whatsoever. I saw a woman on X, formerly known as Twitter, and y'all know I had to light her up talking about how Harry and Meghan trashed their family. And that's the reason why Harry and Meghan wasn't at Trooping of the Color. And of course, I went in on her. How dare you blame the abused and not the abuser? You're saying that the abused have no right to talk about what the abuser has done. I mean, if that's the case, let your husband beat the brakes off of you and you keep your mouth closed. Do that because that's the same thing. They abused Harry and Meghan and wanted them to be quiet about it. Well, you don't get that. You don't get, that's not how it works. And so, since you did what you did, you have gotten what you got. And that is in the burial pole, not very much. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm gonna put this up, and it seems that not only are they, taking their frustrations out on each other, they're starting to take it out on the children. I mean, there's some clips out there on X, formerly known as Twitter, where Kate is not behaving in a motherly manner, if you know what I mean, towards George, especially George and Charlotte. I'm going to put this up, and this is a repost, and the original post said this: oh boy, 5 emotions in 14 seconds. That side eye, St. Kate. Exactly. And it's the video out there of Kate. It seems like she is really going in on little George. I mean, she is chastising him heavily. And it is also out there a video of what it appears. I'm saying what it appears to be, not what it is, what it appears to be. Kate giving Charlotte a really, really firm nudge to the point where Charlotte looks like she was momentarily thrown off balance. I kid you not. I kid you not. And the squatty that reposted this said this: I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. Kate goes from smiling to anger in 1.5 seconds. She gives Willie an evil look, knowing he can't see her through her big hat. Then it looks like she reprimands George and Charlotte for something. They looked fine to me. Were they not standing like royals? Yes, she was going in on George and his face. His face. He looks like he was just so over it all. And you could clearly see on the children's faces that they did not want to be there. And this squatty came up under this post and said this: Kate has always been good at dropping a smile as quickly as she can create one. But she's too stupid to see. We all see her. I think she was telling them to stand straight for the anthem. Kids should be allowed to be just that, kids. I agree. But I tell you, she absolutely nudged Charlotte to the point where Charlotte absolutely almost lost her balance. It was just that obvious. You could see it. I don't know what's going on with Kate. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this picture right here just says it all. It shows that these kids really didn't want to be there. They really did not want to be there. They're on the verge of crashing out at this point. Look at this picture. And this particular squatty that posted the picture said this: this looks absolutely horrendous. What's wrong with giving them to wear sunglasses for a bit? Exactly. But my whole thing is these kids are out in this hot sun with suits and ties on and are being forced to behave in a manner that is so foreign to kids. It must be torture for these kids. But yet and still, people think that it's Harry and Meghan's kids are missing out on something. Yeah, they missing out on something, all right. A lot of nonsense and a lot of discomfort. I'm just saying, yes, this picture is just so horrendous, just like this particular squatty said. Look at George. And George was out of sorts the whole time. I don't know what had went on prior to them coming, but it looked like today George was their target. I'm just saying. Look at this one right here. This is her going in on George. Look at his face. This particular squatty said, "What was this look? I didn't notice until I saw a comment saying that he was glaring at his sister during the clip we saw. This was interesting. I'm not criticizing a child. They might have had an argument over something small like siblings do before being put on display to millions." Exactly. Exactly. It is so unfair to these children, you know? And she was just going in on George. Kate was. I don't know what it was about. All right, y'all, I'm gonna put this one up. And this particular squatter reposted the same post, like it says, "Oh boy, 5 emotions in 14 seconds." But what was the interesting part of this was the squatty that came in and responded to the comment and said this: "It's not the look which bothers me in this clip. It is the actual physical nudge. What was that for? And what did she say? Didn't look good for whoever was on the receiving end. There's inneth the lessons of Saint Kate today." Yes, she physically nudged Charlotte to the point where I'm telling you, she looked like she maybe would lose her balance. She did not know it was coming. I cannot believe Kate did that in front of everyone. I don't know if George and Charlotte was having some kind of disagreement or what was going on, but those children was not into being exhibits in this zoo that they call the royal family. They did not feel that today. They did not want to do that today. You could tell that they were forced to be there. And it was not a pleasant thing to watch, I must admit, because these kids are the only people in this family that I feel any compassion for, any kind of empathy or sympathy for, because they didn't choose their lot in life. Like Harry didn't choose his lot in life. But yet and still, they have to put up with this nonsense. So yeah, I felt bad for the kids today. I really did. Because it seems like they were just not into performing today. But yet, just like Harry and William had to perform by walking behind their dead mother's casket, these kids was forced to stand on a balcony and wave, and they have done this time and time and time again. And they're tired. You can tell. Every time we see George, Charlotte, and Louis, they seem so tired. They seem so over it. They seem so unhappy. And William should be ashamed of himself, because what was done to him, he is now doing to his own children. He is not trying to be a cycle breaker. He is not a generational curse breaker like Harry. He could still be the heir to the throne and the king of England, but he could do things differently. Not just being on vacation, not showing up. I know, I'm talking about making things different for his children. It is so strange to me that every time you see them on vacation, they're doing something that William and Kate wants to do. You never see these kids doing anything that you would think a kid would want to do, like go to Disneyland or ride rides or do anything like that. You never see the Wells kids doing that. You see them going on ski trips and to Morocco and all these different places that it seems like what William and Kate wants to do, especially William. And like I said, if it's any sympathy in my heart for any of those royals, those left behinds over there, it is for George, Charlotte, and Louis. I feel bad for those kids. I do. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up, and I agree with this squatty. It says the misery is written on each and every one of their faces, where it's a lie. They're not happy. They thought getting rid of Harry and Meghan was going to make them happy because they would be centered. But look, they're not happy even when they're centered because they did not calculate the fact that even when centered, Charles and his horse, William and Kate, they don't have enough star power for anybody to care. And if anything has been proven today, that has been proven. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this picture up and look like Kate is still having a go at George. I don't know what's going on there, but as you can see, William is over in the corner smiling or laughing about it. But all I know is one thing, that profile of William, his profile is absolutely tragic to say the least. Every time I see William's profile, I think of a crack addict. I'm saying he looks like he is on the pipe. But that's what I'm saying. He looks like it. I'm not saying he is. This is my opinion because y'all know they get real trigger happy over here. So you have to be careful how you word things. So I'm not saying allegedly he is. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying he looked like he is to me. But yes, it's something really intense going on in that car. Look at little Lewis's face. That is not a happy family. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty just kept it short and sweet and said, apparently, this is what Harry is missing. And this is what the Derangers are starting to say on these internet streets, that Harry must be missing this and how Lilibeth and Archie should be there and how they aren't and all kinds of old nonsense like that. Why do they think this is such a big flex? Because if Harry and Meghan wanted to be on that balcony, they would be on that balcony. Let's not get it twisted. They chose to leave, and after a year, they chose not to come back. The rejection is from Harry and Meghan, not from that family. And all I can say is, whew, did they dodge a bullet? Because can you imagine having to go through this boring process every year? Oh my goodness. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm going to put this one up. And this particular squatty just said what needed to be said in the best and most perfect way. They said this: it's time for the royal family and their fans look at the truth straight in the face and realize that Meghan sending jam to her friends had more coverage and was more interesting than this extravaganza birthday celebration for Charles. Meghan and Harry were the best thing that happened to the royal family. They need to just absolutely acknowledge that. Because at the end of the day, without Harry, Meghan, and those babies, ain't nobody interested in them left behinds. Nobody. And the barrier poll proved that today. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up real quick. And it is so true. It is so true. Everybody be coming for Charles, saying Charles is unpopular. Well, what about William? He was there too. His family was there too. Why didn't the people come out to see him? Even if they didn't come out to see Charles and his horse, why did they not come out to see William? This particular squatty said this: forget Charles. Where are all the royalists to see William? I thought the UK voted William as the most popular and, and handsome bald man in the world. Where are all the screaming fans to see him? Exactly. This is not going to change once William ascends to the throne, because at the end of the day, they're all boring and mediocre. They don't have any star power here, and it's none in the horizon that I can see. And it also proves that those emotional support poles are just that, emotional support poles. They're not actual poles, because the actual poles are the barrier poles. You know, how many people are standing behind the barriers to see them, to wave at them, to wish them well. And the barrier pole is saying that the emotional support pole is nothing but BS. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up, and this is the last one, but boy, is it true. Look at this picture. Look at the different pictures. Which family would you want to be? I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.